Hey guys, this is John Scarborough. Looks like we're finally coming into a good spring grass. I think it's March 8th today. The cows are actually, well, they're way past the house and they're all the way past there on the other side of the road grazing. And where they're grazing right now, there's grass, but it's still winter grass. And I mean, this is winter grass right here, but it's still in its cool season state. And then so there's a lot of stockpile over there too that they're eating. But over here you can see we're actually coming into more like the spring style grass, and you can tell we're starting to come on with some of the clovers and stuff in this pasture. Like over in here you can see this nice little clump right in here. You can see all that clover is really starting to come in really good in here, and that's just all out through here. If you look, you can't really see it right now because it's so small. It hasn't all of it hasn't poked its head out, but if you, I don't know if you can see it through the grass there, but it's all underneath through the grass down in there. And this is not something we've planted. This has all come from the way we've been grazing. These pastures, typically, if they ever have any, if they ever had any clover, they had to come out and plant it. Okay, and a lot of that came from the nutrition in the pastures. The way they were grazed, they were overgrazed, and there was never any real nutrition down in there, and it never got any nutrition deposited down in there. Now, they did spread chicken litter on there, and I think it did a lot for those pastures, but we haven't had to do anything like that since we've been here. And I'm not saying that we won't, I'm just saying we have not so far. And the clover's coming on and everything's coming on really strong. And the main thing is because we haven't sprayed our pastures. You see, when you spray for a broadleaf, when you spray to kill the broadleaf, then clover is one of your broadleaves and it will kill your clover out. And so then you're forcing yourself to have to go in and do more to your pastures because of your spray. And especially, I see a lot of people, they'll come in and try to get ahead of it, and they'll spray this time of year, and it's like, man, there's not even any weeds out here, barely any. You know, there's a few flowers coming up, and that's eventually going to become a weed, you know, but you're killing it all off and trading it for basically you're trading your clover for the lack of weeds. But that clover is going to do you so much more good than taking away the weeds. And actually this type of grazing that we've been doing will help a lot with the weeds anyway. The best thing you can do with the weeds is to come in, if you're not mob grazing and able to knock them down, is to come in right before that weed gets a seed head on it, just before it starts to poke that seed head out, and go in there and bush hog it. And bring it down. Don't bush hog it all the way to the ground. Bring it down to probably about this level where it is right now. And if you'll do that, a lot of times it's just one time a year, you can make a dramatic difference on your weeds in your pasture. But the biggest thing that's going to make a difference on the weeds over time is just simply bringing the health back to your pasture and allowing the grass itself, the perennial grass, to get far stronger than the annual weeds. That's what a lot of people forget, is the fact that grasses are perennials, and a lot of your weeds are annuals. You can actually make those perennials stronger than those annuals. Kind of like if you plant a tomato plant next to a tree. Tomato plant is an annual, and a tree is obviously a perennial. And it's a very strong and older perennial. Okay, I know that's kind of an extreme example, but I'm just trying to make it clear. Like, you know, you've got your perennials and you got your annuals, and the point in mentioning that is the fact that the perennials get a chance of years and years of getting deeply tapped roots and all sorts of different things that can help them to keep coming back. They don't just rely on that seed. Okay. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about that too much. I just kind of wanted to show you all this beautiful evening, let y'all see a lot of the nutrition that's coming in, compliments of the way we're grazing. This is all new stuff. We don't ever get clover, or this pasture has never gotten clover. And the reason I know that, It's because I know the people that actually grazed it before, and I'm not talking bad about them in any way. All I'm doing is trying to show the difference in the pasture here after we've started grazing a little bit differently. I mean, you can tell if everywhere I go, all out in this pasture is all of this clover just exploding out here, and it's just everywhere. It's hard to really pick it up on camera the way it really is, but all out through there, all that grass that you see out there growing up, it's all got clover growing up in it. It's all right up underneath it. So when the cows do get here, it's going to be an explosion of just high nutrients. They're probably going to have some diarrhea if I don't hold them back a little bit. Okay, and so what we'll have to do is we're going to have to there's a transition period in there that comes from see, here in the South, it's a little bit different. We grow green grass all year around here where we live, so it's a little bit different on the transition period. Okay, but there is a transition from the way you graze them in the wintertime when they're eating stockpile, but they're eating some winter grass, and then to the point where we're coming right now, the transition comes into the way you start grazing when you're grazing spring and summer grass. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in the next video coming up. So y'all stay tuned for that, and thanks for everyone that has subscribed to my channel so far. I do appreciate that. We try to put out good, helpful content, and put some helpful comments on there. Let me know what are some good what's some comments, what's some topics y'all'd like to see me cover. So anyway, guys, thanks. Don't forget to give me a little thumbs up, and if you're watching this and you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe.